Seems like I just finished this and it's already broken. Gotta remake that part. This is where I am on the router mill. Deck's done, slots are cut, T-track's in. I made the slide, carriage, and the screw advance for the router to travel inside the shell. So now I need to make the two fences and supports for that deck. Once I have that on, that establishes the height that I'll probably have to recut these, which is okay. The aluminum there is notched so it perfectly fits down between the pillars, and I'll probably have to come up with something to keep it from sliding side to side. She's close. Today we got to go to the drum shop. I've also been digging some fence post holes. I haven't been here in 2 weeks, and it looks like I beat everybody, so I'm going to start by doing a quick shop pickup. It's not too bad in here. This is getting cluttered again. This still hasn't been touched after 4 months. And this still isn't ideal, but first jobs of the day, Bill's gonna sand this back pretty much to raw wood. Keep getting air bubbles or just compounding on the existing air bubbles, so it's not worth it. Just sand it back aggressively, start over. As for me, the bolts came in for the clackers. They are a bit too long. I got to cut 3/8 of an inch off. So I made this little, I guess you could call it a depth gauge. It's got a T-nut. I can nip them off on the bandsaw, clean them up on the OSS, and then assemble.
All those little white dots are that's the problem. So we're now down to the layer that had the problem. I wonder if we like hit it with blush out now, if that would melt the finish to smooth out all those bubbles. Although I feel like we're already sanding, may as well just keep going. This has only happened to me a couple of times with nitrocellulose, and I still don't fully understand why it happens, because to me it still feels like a fluke, but there's got to be some consistent set of circumstances that will make nitrocellulose do that. And the only thing that I can think is there's moisture trapped underneath the finish.
If someone knows, let us know.
If anybody out there is better at shooting nitrocellulose than I am, which is pretty likely, let me know.
So this bedazzled snare, Bill's flattening the edges, and it revealed some gaps between the re-rings and the skin. So he's going to fill them with epoxy and sawdust. There's no clamp on those shut. And this thing, coat a blush out to see if we can even out the finish. And I'm assembling clackers. You may be asking yourself, why didn't they just order the correct length of bolt? And the answer is, it's Bill's fault. The real answer is, McMaster-Carr didn't have them, so We just cut them off and sanded them up. Goes pretty fast once you get the system down. Next. There we go. 6 for the order, 7 for inventory. We'll probably never sell it now that we have it. This is the best part. Ship it! Bill is measuring and mixing epoxy on this scale made for ants.
Ants.
Bill mixed some very fine sawdust from the OSS into the epoxy. Gonna use that paste as a gap filler. Didn't want to use regular wood putty because when we go to cut the bearing edges, that would probably just chip out, bust out, fly out. Didn't want to try to just use wood glue because there's old dried up crystallized hide glue in there. We'd never be able to pull the gap closed with clamps anyway.
Yeah, the gap is wide enough that I'm afraid part of the bearing edge is going to wind up where the gap is, kind of out of necessity, and wood putty just won't hold up. It's not the way to go. But this stuff, this should be really strong, at least as strong as the surrounding wood, so that even if part of the apex winds up being this fill, it should still be plenty durable.
It's like peanut butter.
Yeah.
Ugh. While we watch Bill work, is anyone going to the Chicago Drum Show? We're not. We're not.
We're thinking about it. We're probably not.
PASIC 2021.
We'll be there. Will you?
Next project, which I thought would be quick, was reassembling this old roller thingy bob. Turns out we need to make a pin because it's missing one. And the handle had to be glued up. So a bit more involved than I thought, but I tried to get it off the list today. It's pretty cool. All right, you said we have a few repairs. Hit me.
Yeah, so this is a Slingerland? Yeah, Slingerland. Marching snare. We've had like a ton of these come through here. I like them. I think that these old like kind of mid-century parade snares are really cool. So obviously that hoop needs some help.
It needs a new hoop.
Yeah, I mean, once we get it off and see how warped it is, it might be that we can just glue it and it's fine, but if it's too warped and gonna be, the guy doesn't want to spend a ton of money on this, so, and I think I actually have a few of these hoops kicking around here, so actually, I don't know if they're Slingerland or not, but they're definitely period correct, you know, marching snare hoops. So other than that, I mean, I think it just needs to get cleaned up and, you know, just set up like, you know.
Single tension, 6 rod.
Yeah.
A more modern throw off, wire snares.
Yeah, might replace the snares, but for the most part, yeah, it's just clean it up, deal with the hoop. It's probably all it really needs. This is a much more interesting project. This thing is really cool. I don't actually know for sure who made it, but I haven't gotten into it yet. The heads are pretty opaque. Oh, speaking of heads, how about this? Oh, not that one. This sweet Ludwig play-on plastic. I have no idea how old that is. But this is for a Civil War reenactor. He just picked this up at like a flea market or something and brought it in and asked that we would clean it up, get it ready to play, but also make it period appropriate for Civil War reenactment. So that means these hoop clips have to go. We're going to replace them. Rather than drilling the hoops, we're going to replace them with hoop clips, but with actual like mid-19th century appropriate clips, which these, to the best of my knowledge, are not. Because of the roller, the bearing that's inside these. I don't think that happened until considerably later. Also, these metal the metal clips on the ears is not period appropriate. Technically this strainer isn't either. We might leave that or we might replace it with one of the little hoop mount. We'll probably replace it. And these guts are not guts, they're wire wrapped silk, which again is not appropriate for a Civil War reenactment. So we're gonna take it all apart, clean it all up, probably replace the strainer, definitely replace the guts, give it new rope, give it new ears. He wants the hoops painted, which I don't love doing, but
man, I like the patina on those. They look cool.
I know, I really do too. I might try and talk him out of the painting the hoops thing because they look awesome.
Stripping, my favorite thing to do.
You know that's right.
We got both these drums stripped back. I've washed them once with a Dawn dish soap solution. This one still has some grime, so I'm going back in with a light touch with a scrubby. It does have a one blister spot, which we think we can squeeze some epoxy under and clamp. This one has a worse blister spot, and if we clamp this one home, we will actually break the veneer worse than it is. So Bill's gonna mix up some epoxy and half clamp it to his best ability.
Yeah, I got a clamping call down there that I made a while ago that's the right diameter. So I think if I just try to line it up with the surrounding shell, but don't try to get it all the way down, I think it'll work.
So it's a partial fill, partial clamp.
That's really tricky because with, you know, you don't want to squeeze out, or not much anyway. But no idea how much this is gonna cinch down. There's no way to do this with like no visible blemishes. It's not, I mean, I don't even know why I'm trying. Like, I don't even know that this is really damaged. I think this is mostly a manufacturer's defect. I'll clamp it there.
Anything you do is better than how it came in, so.
Yeah, and it's just like the way it was, if it ever catches on anything or whatever, you know, it's just gonna completely blow out. So.
And that piece of plastic just for
The
people.
Teflon?
It's Teflon, okay.
Yeah. You know, nothing sticks to Teflon, right? But it's a really good backer with epoxy because you can feel really confident that you're going to be able to peel it off.
I'm gonna take my parts to the wire wheel.
Wire wheel.
Wood glue for this one, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, because it should be able to go back down flush, right? So there's no real reason to use epoxy. And I think wood glue will be stronger in this situation. Okay, I feel like we've got it all spread around in there. Put this on there and clamp it up. Boom.
So we found a workable hoop in the stockpile to replace this one. These hoops will clean up. And then what about ears? Do you have old stock ears, or
No,
you
we're gonna make the inverted heart. Inverted heart.
the ball sack ears?
Ball sack ears. Hey man, he wants it for a Civil War reenacting, and the most popular ear shape during the Civil War was ye old ball sack. So I don't make the rules, man.
Spared you of the wire wheel work. I assure you it was thrilling. Washed the hoops 2 to 3 times. 3 shells are in separate stages of epoxy and or glue. And Billy's hit a wall.
What do I say about that?